For our top story tonight, let's talk about a man. His name is Gurpatwant Singh Pannun. He was born in India. He is a dual citizen of the US and Canada. He founded a group called the Sikhs for Justice in 2007. He acts as a general counsel for this group now. He is also a Khalistani terrorist. Pannun has threatened Indians. He has asked Punjabi youth to take up arms, and he wants a separate Sikh state carved out of India. So why are we talking about him tonight? Because the US says someone tried to assassinate him, and that someone was an Indian national. On the 29th of November, this person was charged by the US Department of Justice. His name is Nikhil Gupta. His crime, allegedly plotting the murder of an American citizen. Now here's what the indictment says. Nikhil Gupta tried to hire a hitman to kill a US citizen, and this was for $100,000. The hitman turned out to be an undercover federal agent. Now the indictment does not mention who the target was. It just says it was someone who advocates for a separate Sikh state. But reports suggest it was Pannun. He was the subject of the plot. The indictment also mentions an Indian government employee. Again, he has not been named, but he's been referred to as CC1. The Department of Justice says CC1 is a senior Indian officer, and he was the one directing the plot from India. This officer then hired Gupta in the month of May. The pair apparently met in New Delhi. They used to stay in touch via texts. After his orders, Gupta tried to hire a hitman, but the hitman turned out to be an undercover agent, like we just told you. Gupta paid him $15,000 upfront. All of this is mentioned in the indictment. Now, Nikhil Gupta has been arrested. He was caught in the Czech Republic. He is now awaiting extradition to the United States. Of course, all these are very serious allegations. The White House says it has raised the matter with India. CIA Director William Burns was in India. So was National Intelligence Director Avril Haines. They were here to discuss Washington's concerns, which brings us to India's side of the story. What is New Delhi saying? India says it is investigating the claims. It has set up a high-level inquiry committee. Listen to this.
As regards the case against an individual that has been filed in a US court, allegedly linking him to an Indian official, this is a matter of concern. We have said, and let me reiterate, that this is also contrary to government policy. The nexus between organized crime, trafficking, gun running, and extremists at an international level is a serious issue for law enforcement agencies and organizations to consider. And it is precisely for that reason that a high-level inquiry committee has been constituted, and we will obviously be guided by its results.
So Washington has raised the issue and India has responded. It has vowed to investigate, and frankly, that's how things are done. Joe Biden did not go to the US House of Representatives and accuse India of attempted assassination. He took the diplomatic route. He discussed it with New Delhi. But who will explain this? To the Canadian leader, Justin Trudeau. In September, he accused India of killing Hardeep Singh Nijjar. And he said it in the Canadian Parliament. Nijjar, of course, is a Khalistani terrorist. And now, Justin Trudeau is back to making the same allegations.
I wanted to speak to the news coming out of the United States on India. From the month of August onwards, we have been working closely with our American counterparts, with partners around the world, on the very serious allegations that we shared in September. That we believe India was involved, agents of the government of India were involved in the killing of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil. The news coming out of the United States further underscores what we've been talking about from the very beginning, which is that India needs to take this seriously. The Indian government needs to work with us to ensure that we're getting to the bottom of this. This is not something that anyone can take lightly. Our responsibility is to keep Canadians safe, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Of course, Trudeau saw this as a perfect opportunity, a way to bring the focus back to himself. But the fact is, Trudeau made these allegations 2 months ago. He said he had proof. 60 days on, he has not shared it, not a shred of evidence. But the allegations continue. Which brings us to the main issue, the issue of India's national security. Hardeep Singh Nijjar, like I said, was a Khalistani terrorist. Gurpatwant Singh Pannun is a Khalistani terrorist. They have threatened India and Indians repeatedly, and they always got away with it. They were given a safe haven. Why is that? Washington expressed concern about this assassination plot. and India listened to them, promised to investigate it. But what happens when India expresses concern about the security of its diplomats and its people? What happens when India seeks action against Khalistani terrorists operating in these countries? Does the US respond with the same promptness and sincerity? They've taken up this case at the highest levels, the case of a bona fide terrorist. How about making an effort to crack down on them, on making sure that America is not a haven for Khalistani terrorism?